What is a Google search that changed your life? Blood type calculator. Just was looking up my blood type and found something that guessed the percentage of mine happening based off my parents' blood type. My dad is AB. My mom is B. I'm O. How did that conversation go? It didn't. I know my mom cheated on my dad and vice versa. It shook me up, and honestly still does. But my dad is still my dad at the end of the day. I was late for work one day due to traffic, and my manager, who's also my friend, said, "Yay, right, you were at a butt cake party." I asked him what that meant, and he told me to Google it later because a customer walked up. We sell phones. As I was helping said customer, who was close to being 80 years old, I was showing her how to use the voice search, and I chose this moment to ask Google what a butt cake party was. I had made a huge mistake. Multiple images of record-breaking cum shots to the face pulled up, and both the customer and I were mortified. I apologized profusely, but ended up losing the sale, along with my dignity. A few years later, as a joke, I named my fantasy football team Buttcake, since the original manager was the league captain, and I miraculously won the league. Now, I have a very large trophy with Team Buttcake printed on it, implying I'm a winner in the art of facials. Why do my shoelaces keep coming untied? Turns out I've been tying the knot wrong for 33 years of my life. Misophonia. Honestly, just realizing I wasn't crazy or the only one who gets so annoyed by sounds has exponentially helped me validate my feelings and work towards decreasing my sensitivity. I once saw my friend's search history, how to stop smelly penis. I still laugh to this day. Not a Google search, but I recently was prowling around on an ex's Facebook page and noticed that her oldest daughter looks really familiar. Then I did some math and it hit me. It looks like I've been a father for the last 18 years and didn't know it. I googled my birth mother. I was adopted at birth and never really got interested in finding information on my birth mother until I was around 16. I asked what her name was and, for the hell of it, typed it into a Google search. What popped up was a mugshot of my birth mother, in jail for being part of a meth house. Past that image was a link to a topics forum talking about her in the worst way possible, picking apart everything she'd ever done and calling her every name possible. Finding out all of this information was very overwhelming and a bit saddening at first, but it eventually led me to finding most of my birth sisters, many of which I'm still close with today. Dyslexia for numbers. Holy shit, guys, it turns out that I'm not a total retard who deserved to have their parents give up on them completely at the age of 8. It looks like I might just have a moderate case of dyscalculia. Also Gender Clinic Edinburgh. That was a rough year. Calorie counting. As a result of this, plus joining a gym, I managed to lose over 30 kilos and reach a healthy weight for the first time in 15 years. I also got fit, but that was the gym more than anything, although correcting my diet helped to get me there. I used my ex-girlfriend's laptop while she was in the shower to quickly look something up. I open Google, click into the search field, and start typing my search how, and this one suggested previous search pops up. How to get pregnant without my boyfriend knowing. All of a sudden it clicked. I understood what all my friends and parents were talking about for the last 3 years of my life about this girl being bad news. I made the decision then and there to cut the relationship off and move on with my life. I've never been as depressed and angry as I was when I was in that relationship, and leaving it has changed my life for the better in so many ways. Edit. We were 17. Blue whales. One time I googled them and read about everything I could find on them. Physically, they blow my mind at how massive they are and how insignificant every other living creature is to them. Really put my place in nature into perspective for a while. Fat dogs. It sounds stupid, and that's because it is. I laughed for about 10 minutes straight. 10 out of 10. Signs of abusive behavior. Yeah, left that relationship soon after that. I was searching for information about why I felt uncomfortable in social situations, because I just quit a job, because I couldn't stand being around so many people. I found a website about social anxiety, and it blew my mind. I fit all the symptoms. I never heard of social anxiety before that, and I thought I was failure of human being who didn't know how to interact with people. A year later of trying to fix myself, Reddit user encouraged me to go therapy, and my life changed for the better. I'm not a social butterfly, and I accept that, but I can have conversations with people without freaking out or criticizing myself after the conversation for some imaginary mistake I made. Also, I wrote this comment which I something I couldn't do because I was so anxious about what other people would think. To get sentimental here, Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. Been sober over 3 years. Edit. Well, thanks for the gold kind internet stranger. Lots of comments about people who have also stopped drinking drugging. You all are the ones that help keep me sober. To those of you thinking about quitting drugs, alcohol, do it. It won't be easy, but it is possible one day at a time. How to program. When I started, I was a lost puppy that had no idea where to start. And after years of learning, I'm finally doing what I love for work. Didn't really change my life, but recently Googled, am I circumcised? Looks like I am. Also found out I am a dumbass. I am 42 by the way. Punk fail into Google Images. It's a picture of me at my then girlfriend's house. My friends still make fun of me for it. Christina Aguilera's childhood. Something in her songs seemed too personal and hit too hard home for me. Turns out, she too is a survivor of domestic violence and is really outspoken about it. I was 15 and blown away by the fact that someone so wholesome and gorgeous could relate. I've been finally shown that there's light at the end of the tunnel, even in such a horrible situation. I developed games as a hobby. One time, while working on a user interface, I put 2 colors next to each other, and they clashed so horribly that I joked about it with my wife, an art major, who proceeded to disagree with me completely. I searched for what kind of color-blind dogs are so I could make a joke. On Wikipedia, there's a box that said people who are normal will see a 79 or something like that, and I didn't see the 79. Turns out I'm deuteranomalous, almost like a dog. Then I sent an Ishihara thing that said, "Fuck the colorblind." Wife found it and cackled gleefully, refusing to tell me what it said. I put it in Photoshop and played with the colors until I could see it. To my little brother, because I read It's Hereditary, and guess what? Him too. I was an active believing Mormon and searching for objective information about its founder. Joseph Smith turned my world upside down. How to repair. As the buyer of a short sale, I found out that there was a fix-it video or diagram for nearly every basic home repair, and if there wasn't one, I'd try to make one. It was also great for finding manuals for cheap used appliances. Sexual education. Coming from a poorly developed country that pushes more Christian and Catholic values than sex ed in school, Google played a big part on teaching me on how to be safe and responsible when my significant other and I decided to be more sexually active in our relationship. I did a search for psychologists in my area, led to me getting help for my depression, which led me to graduate college, which led me to move halfway across the country, which led me to finding a job, which led to me being, finally, happy. Looking up Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Finding out you have a debilitating genetic disorder can change your outlook and lifestyle pretty quickly. Heart attack symptoms. Woke up at 3 in the morning with acid reflux, but my left arm hurt also. Googled heart attack symptoms and woke my wife up to tell her I was driving to the hospital. I was pretty sure it was nothing, but since I have a family history, I guess I should be safe. Yup, heart attacks happen at age 32. Does a Google Plus search count? I did a search for Calvin and hobbies and found a comic posted by a girl, and I commented something witty on it. 10 months later, we were married. It's been 3 years and she's the best thing that's happened to me. Liking men and women. Turns out, it wasn't just a fluke every single time I had a crush on or sexual attraction for another woman. There's a word for that. Pain in shoulders after drinking alcohol. 1 year ago, I Googled that, read some posts on various message boards that occasionally mentioned it possibly being a rare sign of cancer, and within a few days, I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer that had spread to some lymph nodes. My youngest son was not yet 4 months old, and I was still breastfeeding him. Fortunately, I'm a year out now, and cancer-free after intensive chemotherapy, a bilateral mastectomy and radiation, all thanks to Dr. Google. Minimalism. Honestly, I was never really a materialistic guy. Got rid of a ton of shit, needed to get my life into gear, and looked into Spartan culture, which led me to search for minimalism. I'm not one of those extreme fucks that is damn near nothing. But damn, do I like not having to worry about having a ton of stuff to clean and organize and all that. My mind is so much more relaxed than it was. Who to talk to about self-harm? UHS website told me to go to my local GIP. That referred me to a psych guy. I was diagnosed, counseled, and given medication. It's been a few months now, and I actually feel worthwhile. Copy-pasting what I said in a similar thread a while ago. During secondary school, I often went to the tech lab to goof off on the computers during lunch break. One day, I opened up Windows Media Player's media guide, and, as a joke, typed in Sonic the Hedgehog. thinking I wasn't going to find anything. What I did find, however, was this particular remix of Sonic 2's Metropolis Zone. After searching through the site, it was from Overclocked Remix, and becoming a member, I was a regular poster of the Post Funny Pictures thread. This was the days before stuff like r/funny and the like. And after finding another site with a bunch of material to cross-post, I joined that site's forum, and I still regularly visit that place too. Although the forum itself has dropped in activity over the past couple years, it's been 10 years since I opened my account there too. So, after happily chatting with the people on the forum, I noticed that one of the members had started a personal music project. Now, I was always that I can do that too, kind of kid back then. And since I was a short-time poster on Overclocked Remix's forums and had attempted to do 1 or 2 remixes of my own, which completely sucked, and I like to think that no one online has them anymore. I only have a copy of it on my hard drive because I never delete stuff. I figured I'd give it a shot. I picked up my acoustic guitar, incorrectly strung because I play left-handed, made a handful of songs, half of which were half-assed covers, on a crappy headset microphone, and left it at that. I did end up making stuff that was a little more electronic, since I had a sequencer, but again, outside of the video, I would put on YouTube. Nothing came from it. Then in the beginning of 2009, so this is about 4 years later, I was let go from the job I was working in. Kind of a bummer. So while searching for a new job, I remembered that, back when I was studying at college for a computing course, my friend at the time was studying at a nearby college doing a course in music, but had dropped out in the second half. I figured, since I like making music, thanks to the guys on the forum giving me the idea to do so, I'll give it a shot. One of the modules was to compose a piece of music set to a piece of video, as if we were writing a new soundtrack to it. Well, I fell in love with the idea immediately. After I completed my 2 years of college, I found out the university in the same city was doing a similar course. Fast forward 3 years. I graduated university. I'm a qualified sound engineer. I produced my debut album and have been putting together ideas for the next one. And on top of that, I'm currently in the middle of setting up my own business where I plan on composing music for other clients. All because the 16-year-old me searched Sonic the Hedgehog on some arbitrary search engine.